Hey guys, Sean Hammond with Premier Guitar coming at you with another one of our Summer Gear Slam gear demo videos. And today we have Jonathan Herrera from, he's a rep from Nordstrand Basses. Jonathan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. This is a really cool looking bass here. I've seen some PR about it the last couple months, and I love the shape, and I love that headstock. It kind of reminds me of some old like Yamahas or other weird 60s Japanese instruments. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so I agree. The headstock is very cool. And it's a little bit of a clue as to what the inspiration for this bass was. So there is a Italian company, I'm pretty sure they're not in existence anymore, but that made some very quirky and cool instruments in the late 60s called Goya.
Goya. Goyas are awesome.
Yeah, and among the instruments they made was this bass, the Panther, and I believe there was a second one, Panther 2, and it kind of languished in obscurity for decades. And then there was a kind of a small crew of pretty successful LA bass players and musicians who sort of rediscovered it. I think it began with Josh Klinghoffer, and then he turned Juan Alderete onto it from Marilyn Manson, Mars Volta, and then Juan turned Yannick Wisdala onto it, and so they were all sort of set out looking for surviving Goya Panthers. Mm-hmm. And at some point, Juan, who's good friends with Carey, came out to Carey's shop in Redlands, California, in Southern California, brought his Goya with him, and showed Carey, and Carey was instantly fascinated by the bass. And the original bass is somewhat, if you guys can go Google one, and it looks somewhat like this in a sort of basic way. But and it's a very interesting bass. It's I believe 31-ish inch scale. Probably depends on which one you get. And very quirky, unusual headstock, 4-in-line, and but weird design. Like I think it's the G string tuning post is so far up on this narrow headstock that the string actually hits the D string post on its way to there. So
that's handy.
Yeah, just like little funky kind of, like they almost got it. Also, it had this, like a lot of, those 60s
lots of
basses.
Switches.
Yeah, lots of funky, weird switches. It had buttons, and the buttons actually engage with this whole mechanical system. So it wasn't actually an electronic switch. It's actually a button. You're actually like operating a lever which pulls a thing and changes.
Kind of like an old, those little portable cassette recorders from like the 70s or early 80s.
Yeah, where everything's just very mechanical,
yeah.
And obviously, probably when they were new, they weren't especially reliable, and now, 40, 50 years later, they're a lot of them are kind of falling apart. Mm-hmm. So Carey saw all those qualities, saw a bass that he really dug in a kind of essential way, but then noticed all of these quirks that he felt he could improve upon while capturing the essence of the instrument, and noticing that, a lot of great bass players that know tone were starting to find these, and there aren't very many left. So he saw an opportunity there to give himself a cool design challenge and put something out there that obviously people are interested in. So that's kind of the origin story of this bass.
What you mentioned, the original Goya had the Panther 1 and 2 had the 4-in-a-line headstock. What inspired him to go with the 1 and 3? I don't know.
Well, I think it was a way to solve this issue that I mentioned.
Just that G string.
Yeah,
the third string.
The E string or the G string. I'd have to see that again. I forget. But with such a narrow headstock design, because he wanted it to evoke the original design. Yeah. By the time you get to this, the far end of the headstock, there's not enough room for the string. So he's like, well, I'll just stick one of the tuners on the other side of the headstock, and that solves that problem. So that's where that comes from. The name is Acinonyx. It's sort of hard to say unless someone's told
Yeah, I was
you.
thinking, like, is it Acinonyx? Or?
Acinonyx. I think it's Acinonyx. I'm sure some biologist is going to. And that is the genus of the cheetah.
Okay.
Which is sort of, reminiscent of the panther and the
Cool.
cat connection.
Yeah.
A lot of people end up calling it the cat base because that's obviously a lot easier to say.
So other than the headstock and the tuner array being different, I imagine he weeded out some of the less practical options on the originals.
For sure. Particularly where I know he put a lot of attention, other than the design of the body and neck, was in this switching system. Of course, it's both probably not practical and just not a good idea to have a mechanical switching system. So what he did, but he wanted to kind of evoke the button vibe, and so he ended up finding these are the same buttons that they use in the 1176 compressor, which famously has these 4 push buttons in a row, and when you press one, it cancels the other for selecting the compression ratio. So this is actually the same switchgear as the 1176.
So heavy duty, like time tested studio.
Yeah, they've been
buttons,
around for I don't know, as long as that compressor's been around, 30, 40 years. And this array of buttons controls pickup switching. So there is a and I wonder if you can see maybe there's
4 of them, right?
Some little illustrations, pictographs on there that show you what.
So is it basically bridge, neck, and both?
So there's both.
Or inner coils or something?
No, they're single coils, like the original.
That's right.
I think Carey thought a big part of the vibe of that instrument was that it was single coil.
Okay.
So there is a both neck soloed, bridge soloed. There's an off button.
Okay.
And which is cool. And then there is, just like the 1176. The 1176 sort of famously has this secret setting, which is when you push all of the buttons in, you get this very extreme level of compression, kind of almost like a limiter, like infinity to 1 ratio. And so he kind of wanted to tip his hat to that. So you can actually press them all in, and that puts the blended pickups in series. So when it's in the blended sort of normal setting, they're in parallel.
Okay.
When they're all in, they're in series.
That's cool.
A lot of people, now that these are out there, kind of dig that tone, especially it's very sort of massive sounding. And then here is the tone shaping section. So there is a flat setting, a certain amount of high frequency roll off, so low pass filter, and even deeper low pass filter, so the cutoff frequency is deeper. And then there's a notch, like a mid range notch setting, and then it's just volume.
Oh, okay. Now, when we came into the video, what were we hearing? How did you have it set?
I think I had it on neck soloed. I think neck soloed with the flat setting on the tone controls. And if you want, I can run through.
Yeah, let's hear a few different examples. And do you want to tell people what you're playing through? Give them an idea.
Sure. So I'm just playing through a Millennia Origin channel strip. So I chose that because it's like a really famously transparent clean, so you can really get as hi-fi.
Okay, sweet.
A sound of the bass, and then just tracking into Logic.
Okay, so what are we going to hear first?
So let's listen to how about the blended sound, the parallel wired blended sound with the tone flat.
Okay.
Here we go, and volume all the way up. Okay. If you want, I'll just run through them and try to play the same thing, just so A-B it. So this will be the neck soloed.
Okay.
Still with the tone flat. Okay, and then here's bridge soloed. Okay, and then there's one more setting of the pickups, and that would be the all buttons in that
The
series
series,
mode. So I'll do that. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then that was all with which tone setting on the your
so
right
that was all with
hand?
the flat tone setting.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I can run through even one if you want. Obviously, there's a multiple.
Tons of permutations.
Tons of
imagine, but do you have a
permutations,
couple more favorites?
But I'll pick a couple more. So, one sound I really like is this with this series mode and with the high frequencies rolled off somewhat. So it gives you a nice kind of subby present sound.
Nice.
And another cool one, and also I didn't mention, or I may have mentioned, this is a short scale instrument.
What's the scale on it?
I believe it's 30.
Okay.
Even, which is different from the Goya, which was a quirky 31.
Okay.
So.
And you said you have one other favorite setting you wanted to demo,
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. Well, because short scale, a lot of bass players reach for a short scale because, the shorter scale length reduces the overtones in the instrument, so you get a kind of more subby, thumpy, dubby sound. So that's something I want to make sure people can hear. So let's just, I'll cut the maximum high frequency roll off with the neck pickup soloed. So this would be kind of probably the darkest sound this bass has in it.
Nice. All right, Jonathan. So as you were playing all that, got me thinking. Well, we kind of skipped over some of the more basic aspects of the bass. Can you tell us about the woods and that bridge? It looks pretty unusual to me.
Yeah, so it's a custom designed hip shot bridge, and one of the cool things about it is the ball ends go through the top here, so it's super easy.
So it's kind of got like a palm rest there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a bent plate style.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what that's made of? That bridge, is it? Looks kind of like steel, but
kind of has like a stainless vibe to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not brass. And then go ahead.
Then the body is
the
made
body
of...
wood. So the body's alder.
Okay.
And the Indian rosewood fingerboard.
Okay.
And a maple neck. So
cool. And it's a 3-bolt design, is that right?
Yes, it's a 3-bolt design.
Is that what the Goya was originally? Do you know?
I believe the Goya was 3-bolt.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. Yeah. Or that may have even changed in its life cycle.
Gotcha. I won't hold that to you. That's
be
expected to be vintage Goya experts. But I am curious.
Out there go ahead.
Yeah, I am curious about the pickups. So are those intended to mimic the response of the originals, or are they kind of a new take? Because I know Carey Nordstrand is awesome at pickups. I've got some of his. I'm primarily a guitarist. I have some of his Tele pickups that I reviewed years ago and ended up buying. But
yeah, so Carey is, as passionate as he is about making instruments, he's no less passionate about pickups. And among bass players, his pickups are definitely some of the best regarded. So that's, I think, one of the big value adds of this instrument is you get these custom set of single coil pickups that were based on the original from the Goya. Yeah.
Are they pretty low output? Because I'm familiar with Goya, but not in super specific terms. I imagine back then they weren't super high output, but
yeah, these are not especially low output. No, I haven't noticed. I haven't A/B'd them against more contemporary things, but no, they're kind of standard instrument level. And the bass is got some routing in it. There's quite a bit of sort of if you lifted this off, you'd see that there's some routing. So it's
sort of chamber.
It's quite light and resonant. So that's, I would say, the experience of playing it is this real resonance that you feel in your body and you hear in the sound. Kind of air on the note.
So do you want to maybe prepare in the back of your head to play us out, but then also do you want to tell us the pricing stuff and where to get it and go online and find out more?
Sure. So if you go to Nordstrand Guitars, and currently, so the current price is street price is $7.99. but that's a limited time. So if you are interested in one of these, I would jump on that now, because I do believe that price may be going up in the near future.
But to clarify, it's not a limited edition base, right?
No.
It's just that sort of introductory pricing.
It's the introductory price.
Because isn't this Carey's first instrument unveiling, or am I just out of it?
No, Carey has. Carey kind of came into the bass world as a luthier, so his
okay, because I mainly know him from his pickups and his pedals too. He makes great pedals too.
He does, yeah. No, Carey is a really well-regarded luthier, and that was really where his focus was originally. He made his own sort of boutique, high-end designs, and then a line of jazz bass style and P style basses. That, I think, as the pickup business began to take off, that he kind of shifted his focus there.
Okay,
and
so
now
I'm not a complete idiot. Just
no. More recently, he's probably better known to people that haven't been following him the whole time as a pickup maker. But he does still make instruments occasionally. It's more like when inspiration strikes in Redlands. The other thing that's notable about this bass is this is Carey's first import bass. So the way he's able to keep the price so low is that it's made in Indonesia. It's shipped out to his shop and QC'd, and they go through everything and set it up and make sure it's all groovy.
Now you said, sorry, I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that, so $7.99 for now. And if you are one of the first several hundred people, I believe it's 300, to order one, you get also a Nordy Mute, which is this cool... it's basically a piece of wood.
Felt?
Yeah, it's with neoprene. I have one here for a diff. Oh no, this is for this instrument. So you get something that looks like this. He takes some of the really nice wood that he has lying around his shop and makes these, and then it's like a neoprene material. And you get a custom one that has a laser cut Acinonyx logo on it, and then the appropriate string spacing, because the string spacing on this bass is a bit narrower than you might find on a Fender style bass, 17 mil.
Cool. So nordstrandaudio.com, right? People go check it out for more. And you want to play us out and tell us what we're going to hear on the way out? Maybe something different from before?
Oh, sure. Let's see. I will play... I'll play like, have a Boogie On Reggae Woman kind of vibe or something. Funky.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Cool, thank you, Sean. Yeah, appreciate it.
Take it easy. Be sure to subscribe, guys, so you don't miss out on any more of these Summer Gear Slam videos and other stuff we do.
This stuff's great. I love it, especially when we're all trapped inside.
Mm-hmm.